Ahoy, mateys, and welcome back to Captain Keaton. I am joined today again by good friend and excellent guest of the show. It's Corey from Maine-ly Retro. What's up, and welcome back, Corey.
Thanks for having me again, Captain Keaton. Another one of my favorite Zelda games. I love talking, especially about these early Zelda games. So excited to be here.
Let's frickin' go. So Corey has been on for every Zelda game so far, but namely the first two NES games for The Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. With those interviews in hindsight, how do you feel about, being interviewed and how they've come out?
Oh, good. I love all the interviews just to see how, people's perspectives and, their experiences with the games. And because it's all different, you make memories through experience, and we all experience things differently and have different memories from these games. So it's always fun to hear what people have to say and to just talk about the games. Especially some of my favorites. So I like it. I like the retrospectives as well. It's cool to kind of see how they come together. So I appreciate. It's great to see the channel growing. Hopefully, it just keeps growing faster and faster, because I like to see what you come up with content. So definitely appreciative.
Awesome, thank you.
Of the videos.
I'm appreciative of the appreciation, so thank you very much.
Oh yeah.
So let's kind of give a refresher to the viewers. What's going on over on Maine-ly Retro? And we may have some new viewers here as well.
So really, right now, doing really more playthroughs, and I'm going to start going through some of my Masters of the Universe, like this collection. I ended up getting into collecting Masters of the Universe, not purposefully, but it happened. And so showcasing some of those figures, but also really now doing more playthroughs. Just started the Guardian Legend playthrough. Very excited. It's one of my favorite NES games. Probably 2 on my NES list. I think it is number 2, actually. But yeah, so enjoying that game once again. So
you've recommended that game to me a
what's
couple
up
times now, so I hope to get to it eventually.
I figure if I keep mentioning it, eventually you'll be like, you know what? Just to shut him up, I'm going to get that game or emulate it.
I did $25. Okay, we're poor out here, us Keatons, but you know what? It is on my radar, and
yeah.
I do want to look into it eventually. One series I'm hoping to do is Zelda likes games that are like Zelda, and that seems to be up the alley. Although I took a look at some of your footage, and it looks like Blaster Master.
It's interesting because I wonder. I have to look to see if Compile did, if they were involved. I'd have to look to see who who developed the games and things like that. Because who knows? It could be. There could be. I'll be honest with you. I'm not too familiar with Blaster Master besides, seeing some gameplay and a little bit of the game itself, but I haven't really played it. So
just kind of like I guess it is similar to Zelda in that way, but like the over the top panel. And then I believe there's like a little bit of shooting. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So there would be some similarities there for sure.
Dude, maybe I'll tell you what, I'll play Guardian Legend if you play Blaster Master.
Hey, that sounds like a plan.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Good deal. And I think you'd like it too, because Blaster Master almost combines Zelda 1 and Zelda 2. You have overhead sections, and then you have side scroller sections with the tank.
Oh, that's cool. It's good when they mix it up like that. It kind of keeps it from going stale. So that's definitely have to check that out then.
All right, enough about Blaster Master. Let's blast our way to the past. Link to the Pastor Master. That was terrible, but I wanted to make a little fun there. So, The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Link's first and only outing on the Super Nintendo. Corey, what was your first exposure to Link to the Past?
It was definitely kind of going back a little bit, like a year before, because the NES came out, I think, in North America around 91. And I always remember Front Row Video. They had a kiosk with the Super Nintendo in it, and they had Super Mario World. And just watching, so you could play it, get a feel for it, because you used to be able to rent the systems and games. It was a heavy deposit though, so it wasn't something that you rented very often, or not at all. But it was cool that they had the kiosk there, and it was just amazing. Just the colors, the textures, the graphics, just everything about it. I mean, even just the Mario game itself is like, oh man, this is just like next level compared to the previous installments. And that, so it came out, when it came out, I remember just being in awe, because it must have been around summertime, spring or summertime, because I remember it being at least nice. And I remember that we did get the Super Nintendo that Christmas. And I don't believe Link to the Past came out till like a year or so after the Super Nintendo did, because if it had, I would have gotten it. I would have asked for it the same year. So the first recollection of me playing it, again, Front Row Video, renting it there. And again, same thing, just being blown away with just the colors, the textures, the music was crazy. I loved how just the changes in it just, not that the NES is harsh, but like it just kind of like was softer, like sounding. It just made an impression on me. Just like you go through the village, or you go into the houses, and the music changes, and that was incredible. And I just remember just loving that game right from the beginning. And so it was one of those things at Front Row Video where you know, on Friday, you try to get there as early as you could after school, because it was one of those things you were trying to beat the person to the punch to be able to rent it. And I do remember getting that game, that it would have been that Christmas. And it was, because it was one of those, you know, must haves. I was just blown away. I was just so excited. I was, that there was this new Zelda, and it just felt different. And the fact that, I mean, you don't think about these things at the time, but it definitely, looking back on it, definitely more refined. And they did a lot of great things with the game, I think, in terms of making that next step, I would say.
So I just want to clarify a point. You had mentioned rentals. Did you rent this before you got it for Christmas?
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, I rented this game first from Front Row Video. That was the name of the rental store.
That one's before my time. All I know is Blockbuster.
Yeah. It was, I believe it was, I'd have to look to make sure. I think it was like an older chain of rental stores, because that was the real first chain one. Before that, we had like mom and pop ones, really, for the most part, in my area.
And it looks like you're right on the date. So the Super Nintendo was 91. And then even though Link to the Past was 91, that was in Japan, North America, and Europe got it in 92.
Okay. Then it's hard to remember, like sometimes, like, am I remembering this quite right? You know how...
Dude, yeah,
that was a long time ago.
From how long? 33 years? 32, maybe? Yep. See, even like the mental math is hard. But April 13th, 1992 is when North America had gotten it.
Yeah. And actually too, like those were like a handful of the games that I had. Like Zelda was like the early days, like those were the games. Like those were the ones that I played. That, and the NES was a RPG powerhouse. So I really got into RPGs. So I had a few of those growing up too. But yeah, Zelda was like, so I'm glad my memories are still serving me correctly a little bit.
You mentioned that people were kind of feuding over it at the rental store. Do you have any memories of that?
So there were these couple of kids in the workers at Front Row Video. I remember this vividly. They'd have to kick the kids off the NES because they would stay there. Like, I mean, I swear every time I went into that store, they were there, like in front of that thing playing it, you know? And so I would say that was one memory that I always have of Front Row Video in the NES. And, but yeah, that was, so got to play it occasionally, but not much, at least in the store.
That's awesome.
But
okay, so it's Christmas time and then you're gifted Link to the Past. What was your experience like with it then?
it was just a matter, it's just like, playing it, like constantly trying to really get, it was one of those ones where you're trying to find everything, you know, where if you see like an empty spot, it's like, okay, what did I miss? If it wasn't something that you needed to progress through, like say one of the books, but like if it was like a bottle or something like that, or heart pieces, because this was the first game where you had to start collecting all these different heart pieces. And I would get really kind of anal about that, being like, oh man, I want like full heart. And so I would say that was the challenge at the time, was I'm going to find every heart piece. And so I would say that would probably have been it.
Did you complete it? I know the completion requirements are a little higher.
Yeah, that game I did definitely. The only one that I didn't, as when I owned it, was a child, was that Darn Adventures of Link, the second one. The first one and this one, those two I was able to defeat. And this time I didn't actually need, like with the original one, the kid Brandon helped me, but with this one, it was just strictly me beating the game. And yeah, so that was cool.
Dude, yeah, that's awesome. And the game, and from what I gather, everyone I've talked to, even from my own experience, the game is very playable, like on its own. Like a lot of that idea of like Zelda is a community game, isn't really necessary for this one, especially just to beat it. I think if you want to get everything or know every trick, sure, like it would help to have the Nintendo powers and to read some of those tricks. But Link to the Past is very playable.
Definitely approachable and would be one that you can stick with and not get frustrated with, I feel like.
I kind of want to hear a little bit more about the music. Obviously, this was like grander as a game compared to the NES titles. Are there any particular tracks that stand out to you when thinking about the ones that had an impact on you, or just the game in general, things that had an impact on you when you were younger?
Lost Woods, for whatever reason, just the Lost Woods, my favorite, like, of the game. I would say that's my favorite track, in the game. I think it's cool, like how you go into a house and it sounds or even into the village, but like, especially going into the house, it feels warm and inviting. And then until you start blowing up their walls and taking their rupees, but it just sounds, it sounds warm and inviting. And so when you go back and you really like listen to the music, the different, they've always had it to some extent, but they really expanded it here. And I just think some of the music goes really well and changes the mood of like the scene when you walk in. But I don't know. That's how I feel. The sound effects are cool. Like when you're in the basement, you hear the mice or the bat wings, or trudging through like the little puddles of water and things like that. Some areas with the wind. It's kind of cool how they did that, just the details. And that's kind of like where that kind of refinement comes in terms of like Link to the Past versus the original and Zelda 2, I would say.
Dude, yeah. And we'll come back to NES comparisons in a minute, but
oh yeah,
man, that like Kakariko Village is like the first time that you're coming in a town and like in with people, and that's such a warm and inviting theme. Now, I have a weird history with this.
Yeah.
I played it backwards. Like I played Ocarina through first, although I had this on GBA, but I didn't get far because it was on a non-backlit GBA. But I know the Kakariko song, and that has always been nostalgic to me. But when you hear it for the first time, man, Kakariko Village just is heartwarming.
Oh, definitely. Definitely, for sure. Yeah. In Ocarina of Time, though, like that's a great one to start off with too, because I feel like they have, and we can talk about this later, but like it was like that jump to where it just, I don't know. I feel like Nintendo did a really good job in terms of progressing the games, and that kind of took it into a different beginning, a different kind of, still kind of the same, but like in a direction that was really, really good anyway. But
well, slow down on Ocarina. We'll get there when we get there.
Sorry. Yeah.
I'm joking.
No, but you had to bring it back though. Like I think the Link to the Past is a good, like I would consider, of course, considering just the games that I've played, like a really good refined classic Zelda game.
Dude,
referring
agreed.
kind of to the older one.
Let's talk about those refinements, because you have the unique vantage of experiencing this after not just Zelda on the NES, but the NES as well. So what was the shift like in Zelda and in consoles for you?
So like, I'll talk about like right now, kind of like the differences and some of the things that you'll see in other games, like when you consider like A Link to the Past, and I may be jumping to like a later question, so I do apologize, but it's kind of like this is the first time that you really see the ocarina. This is really the first time you see like all those heart pieces. Some of the hook shot, you do see it in other games, even the bug net, I think you see in Skyward Sword, the mirror shield, first time you get reflecting too, but it's not really the shield. And this is the first game too, that you actually get the Master Sword, what's considered the Master Sword, which is really cool. The bottles, let's see. Well, actually, even this little tidbit. So in the original Zelda, the creatures in the water were actually half fish, half female. They're actually called Zolas. This is the first game they're actually called Zoras. And so you have like King Zora that gives you the flippers in the waterfall. And they kind of expand on that in later games, which is cool. Other things that I can think of off the top of my head is like the switches that will either in the Link to the Past. This is the first time you really see switches where like it opens the door or a chest will appear, where that kind of is seen in other games. And Ocarina of Time kind of comes to mind with a lot of these things that I'm mentioning. But yeah, I think it's hopefully I say it right. The Koroko Village, like I think, has that been in the other games though? I'm trying to think. I don't think it's in The Adventures of Link. I think this is the first game it's in. But I have to fact check that.
With Zelda 2,
but those are the kind.
it's only like the hero names, like the town of Ruto or town of Saria. I don't know.
Mm, yeah. So those are the kind of things that I've just from playing later like versions of the game that I can think of. Oh, well, this is kind of like where it kind of started. Like Link to the Past is kind of like where this kind of started. You may see things in different games and different iterations, but I always thought that was kind of cool of how they used different things from different games to expand upon in later games. But those were the things I could think of off the top of my head, at least with Link to the Past.
Yeah, this is definitely a game of many firsts, like the first time that you see a lot of iconic things, not just like first and only, but like, first and many times again and again. And, they're beloved things as well. I just think, too, like having come fresh off of NES Zelda 1 and 2, I was playing this game with my Switch and I had my headphones plugged in and I'm just starting this game up and, the sound effects and the visual effects, it's all so striking. I couldn't like, and then just comparing that to like the 8-bit style, I just really felt immersed. Like I felt like, man, this is epic, And
I love that you mentioned that too in your playthrough. And yeah, congratulations on the no death. I've only watched part of it because we were at that time we were camping on the coast, so I kind of watched some of the replay of it. And yeah, you hit it like nail on the head. Like that's how excited or like how I felt at least when I first played that. Because yeah, that you could, like you said, that you went back and played the first two and then this, and how that appreciation for those things. I was like, man, he's got it. Yeah, it's like that's how it felt as well.
Yeah, that's almost it's interesting because I know sometimes people will say like, oh, you had to be there. You don't know what it's like if you weren't there. And I mean, I will never have been there. But at the same time, just hearing that, like that's what it was like. How far off am I really? I think if you really do the work and you try to understand, then there's nothing stopping you,
Oh yeah.
It takes.
No, I agree. Like when you, yeah, because I thought you put it perfectly. I'm like, oh man, that's cool. Like that you did that. Like you looked at, you went back, you played them, and then you quickly went to the past and for what it was, and really appreciate that. I mean, because yeah, I don't feel like it's any different than if you were there. I mean, if you can have that appreciation and see that, it's like that's cool.
I may never have been around for like NES Zelda 1 where you're trading secrets with kids on the schoolyard, or ordering a subscription to Nintendo Power, but I can come close. So that's good enough for me.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I can never really have the appreciation for Ocarina of Time, and this is just my own thing because when did that game come out? In '98? Mm-hmm. Was it '98?
Yeah.
Or was it? I can't remember. 98. But like, I mean, So I mean, I'm 19 when that comes out. My thoughts are elsewhere. So like, that being your first game, like I'll never have that kind of like experience and enjoy playing that game, although I do appreciate it, and especially for what it is in the Zelda series. But for the time period that I was at, like I wasn't like, because some people will say that that's the best Zelda game that ever came out, and for me I was like, yeah, but that was the time in my life, and so so it kind of goes different ways. It kind of can go, different ways with some of these games as well. I feel hopefully that made sense. I was trying to make a point, but hopefully it came through.
Let me see. Hopefully it came through. I think one thing that's really hard for me as somebody who is like a diehard Ocarina fan is to explain to people why I fucking love Ocarina. And I can
Yeah.
try and I can try and I can tell them and I can tell them, but like if they don't want to understand, or they're already rooted in their beliefs, there is no like helping them to understand that. I think you actually have to be curious. Like you have to have a curious mindset and open-minded to understand why somebody feels that way. I almost feel it's the same way with Link to the Past, except that from the historical framework, like if you can actually go back and play them in order and see how different this is than the other two games. Because I played this before and I played it and I had previously thought, oh, this game's overrated. Like, I don't get it. Why do people call this a masterpiece? And after doing this, like, I get it. I get why this is like one of the best Super Nintendo games and games of its time.
Yeah. And the same thing with the N64, because I used to always I don't know why. I was just one of those people. But like, I'd crap on the N64, but when gave it a chance, and especially Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask became like one of my favorite in the Zelda series, just because, I don't know, it was kind of different, kind of dark, but like, I don't know, kind of cool mechanics. But I learned to like really appreciate definitely those games, because they did a lot for the series.
Yeah. Well, in due time, maybe you'll maybe it'll hit you.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so what has your relationship with Link to the Past been like since your first exposure to it? Have you gone back and replayed it? And if so, how, when, why?
Usually, so the original Zelda for the NES and Link to the Past are the two in the series that I play the most. And I would say, at least in the last 5 or 6 years, I play it I play each one at least once a year. It's just, I still have a lot of fun with the games. I have that tendency to keep going back to the games that I play. I don't know. I seem to play the same games over. I really need to expand. But those are two in a series that I just, I love playing. I still have a lot of fun with. I think they're enjoyable. I think A Link to the Past is definitely one that that is you can go back to multiple times, and I don't know, it's just fun. Like, you can, especially if you know the game, it's like you don't really have to think or anything. You're just having fun, just playing a game. If that makes sense.
Nice. Yeah, no, it's familiar for sure. Which I think is interesting,
and I mean,
because that's kind of your point about Zelda 2 as well. Like, it's kind of familiar to the first game,
Oh, it is. And musically and aesthetically, I mean, it's still pleasing, A Link to the Past. So it's easy to get into.
What, and I probably should have asked this earlier, but was there any like discourse among people around you about Link to the Past?
I actually, like, even people that I know, and I'm particularly like thinking even of so my cousin that I always mention, he, although he wasn't into it, he thought it was cool, and he actually started getting into RPGs, Final Fantasy 2 and 3, but like although he didn't play the Zelda game, he thought, I remember him thinking that, oh, that's cool, but he never really gave it a chance. And I'm trying to think if there's anybody else around in the neighborhood that really had it. But I would say it's probably one of those games that you would find that people enjoyed for the time. I would think, I don't think you'd find too many people that didn't like it.
Yeah, we can kind of get into what the public perception was and is. So I guess I'll ask you first, in like recent days, And you replied to my post on this earlier, but how have you seen the game be talked about nowadays? Like, what kind of words or phrases do people throw around?
I mean, they are definitely positive. It still seems to be a beloved game. I actually just watched a swordless run on games games done quick, because that's going on now, and people still during that block. It's amazing, like people, the donations that came in during that block. So I still think it's definitely a beloved game, and people are doing some weird runs of it too, like all kinds. but yeah, so I'd say that, yeah, still a beloved game, and one people still enjoy.
Yeah, I get that sense too. Beloved is definitely like a good way to put it. I've gotten the sense that this game can kind of do no wrong, despite whatever criticisms you can kind of levy against it.
Yeah. Yeah, and like every game, there are things that can be frustrating about it. I'll be honest with you, like, I hate stupid Death Mountain. I don't know what the issue is, but I can never seem to get off that stupid thing. I don't know what it is. Like that in the Ice Palace in the Dark World. It's like, dude, like, where am I going? But anyway, I would say those are frustrating.
Yeah, dude, Ice Palace
areas.
I can know exactly what to do in Ice Palace, and I'll still get stuck going between those floors.
Yep. Yeah. It's ridiculous, but yeah.
That's funny. Definitely back in the day, like from the research I've done, this game was hailed as a masterpiece, as the game of its time. Famitsu in Japan was giving this game perfect scores. They give it a 39 out of 40. That's 3 10s and a 9. So where do you stand on the masterpiece question? Was it a masterpiece back then, and is it still a masterpiece today?
I would say yes. Just the Super Nintendo, like in general, just like I just love what they did with the graphics, and just how, I want to use the word cartoony, but like it, I don't know. It just, I just love the way it looked. The music, just everything about the game seemed to fit. Like it seemed like it was done in a meaningful way, and I thought it was executed really well. Of course, not thinking of these things at the time, but even just going back and playing the game and just noticing these things, it's like, man, they really hit it out of the park. And not even just like a Link to the Past, but sticking with the Link to the Past, I think it, when you just think about the other two installments of the game, and then just how it expanded Hyrule, and you have castles, you have guys that are guarding the castle, just the details. It felt complete, I would say, for the time.
Dude, hell yeah. This is definitely kind of like, I think, the penultimate up there. There are a lot of damn good Super Nintendo games, and we could sit here and list them off, but I do think this is one of them. How about nowadays?
I think, especially too, and hopefully I'm not jumping too much, but I think, especially with Link's Awakening come out with the Switch. I haven't played it for the Switch, but just watched gameplay. I feel like if somebody saw like a playthrough or gameplay of a Link to the Past, having played Link's Awakening, they'd be like, "Oh, that looks like an interesting game." Because I feel like the graphics aren't quite the same, but I don't know. I feel like and it's a different game, but I feel like in some ways it feels similar. I could be wrong in that. It could be just my assessment in that. But I think, or even just seeing the Echoes of Wisdom game that's coming out, I mean, same kind of thing. Kind of, if you saw that and then you saw a gameplay of Link to the Past, it may spark an interest. Not that it is the same, but it kind of, I don't know, feels similar. But that's just going on looks alone. So, but yeah, go with that, I think.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, so I'm wondering, like, well, I don't know. What is a masterpiece to you? Like, how would you define it?
I know I kind of went off on that, didn't I? So I think, you have to kind of, like, if you think for the time, or you do compare, it depends, because Nintendo has always been kind of done its own thing. So, if you, it's hard because depending on what games you play, especially graphically, that's a tough question in that regard. I think, because I still think it is, but I'm so biased though. Shoot, that's such a good question, because graphics have come so far, but I feel like at least music and detail wise, like sound effects, I'm going to stick with this music and sound effects. I feel like, it still holds up, just for reasons why I mentioned before, at least with the music. I mean, it's mood setting. You feel a certain way when you go into the village, or when you go into a house, or go into the lost woods. I mean, I don't know. It kind of makes you want to like dance or like hop like the animals when you go to get the Master Sword. But like, I feel like the music does change the mood to where you're at, and just the sound effects really give it that added effect as well. Sometimes there's like reverb, so it sounds like an echo. So I think in the music and sound effect regard, I still think that would definitely be masterpiece. Graphics, it's kind of hard. Gameplay, it's fun. So yeah, masterpiece. Hopefully I didn't talk myself around that too much.
I think you answered that a little more clearly the second time, but no, I think what you're getting at is like, it's timeless, and
yeah,
these things have truly like served their function as in the best way possible. It's almost like,
yes.
I mean, is it possible it could be better? Maybe, but it doesn't need to be, because it's already so damn good. And we're talking about like just feeling being evoked when you hear songs, or in terms of it being fun gameplay. Like I do get the sense that like on those fronts, it's like, it's one of the best.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was well said. Good job.
I'm just saying
that was well said.
So yeah. Compliment to yourself. Pat on the back. That's and this might as well be linked to the past / Ocarina episode. But I think like that's what I love.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I'm delving in this too. So I'm I'm taking the hit with you. With Ocarina, I think what I love about it is like, it's almost like you're playing a movie. Like you're playing a Zelda movie. You said like when it makes you want to dance and stuff. Well, you're literally seeing Darunia get up and dance. Like that's kind of what I love about that game. So I think like there's similar sentiments between these two games. How you feel about this game and how I feel about Darunia.
Yeah, I need to play Ocarina again, because it's been a while, and it is a fun game.
They need to remaster it.
Yeah, that would be a good idea, honestly.
Let's go, Grezzo. Okay, let's move on from masterpiece, and you know what? I want to talk about highlights? Like we kind of touched on it, but in addition
Mm.
to or including the ones mentioned so far, what are some of the highlights of Link to the Past for you?
There's actually a story embedded in the game, so you don't have to, go. I don't feel like you have to go out of your way to read the manual to figure out what's going on because it's right in front of you. You start off, you're sleeping, you get woken up, and then you start your adventure, and it just goes on from there. Like the story is told, there's dialogue. I think that is. A highlight, especially compared to the other two games. I mean, there is some dialogue in the Adventures of Link, but man, if you read that manual, there's a lot there to really figure out the story. Not so much in this one. I would say that would be the other thing in the game that I haven't already mentioned. I would say that that's a highlight in a memorable part of this game is that the story is there for you. So I like that.
It's pretty straightforward too. It's not like it's not too in your face. It's there and it's clear, and you can still kind of just get on with the game and keep playing it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I do like that. It's still kind of because it does have that linear aspect of it, but there is some exploration again with the heart pieces, and but it definitely, in terms of being cryptic, at least thankfully, it's definitely a lot less than the other two, or non-existent. So.
Were people at the time saying like NES Zelda 1 and 2 were cryptic?
Besides a few people that I knew, not many people really beat the games. I'll be honest with you. Like Brandon was probably the master, like of the first one. Like he was the kid that I never knew anybody that had that much knowledge about the game. Other than that, didn't really know too many people that actually finished that one, let alone the second quest in that game. In two, so I mean, and saying that in one, and I think a lot of people just got lost and didn't know where to go and just said, I'm done with this game, move on, kind of a thing. So in that way, and being cryptic, I think, yes. The second one, didn't know too many people that had that one. But even then, it was one of those games they just had, but they hadn't really beat it yet. And I think that one had to just do with more knowing how to play the game, I think.
Yeah.
And
yeah, because I was curious. Like Nintendo probably got the memo for Link to the Past. Like, make it a little more accessible.
Yeah. No, I mean, because I would say yes, definitely, because that one is definitely easier to get through for sure.
Do you have a favorite item or a favorite? Well, you'll stick with item for now.
Oh, that's a good one. I always just I always thought the mirror shield just looked really cool. I thought that was pretty cool. I would say on looks alone, it would be like the mirror shield. I thought the hook shot was cool to use. I would say that was the coolest one to use. Although the hammer was pretty cool too. All right, I'm just going with mirror shield.
No, I'm glad.
Mirror shield. We'll go mirror shield.
Yeah, of the 4 people I've asked that to, and I think 3 have said hook shot. So hook shot's fine. It's a great one, and I love it. But no, the mirror shield. Stick with that. I think that is a fascinating mechanic that they use, and that the concept is kind of brought back in a couple entries later on. But it basically even in terms of utility, reinvents some of the exploring and some of those heart piece quests, and it kind of keeps you connected to that light world too. So I think I appreciate that item.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of good ones. Oh yeah, because the mirror. Yeah, and you mentioned that too. Like I don't know if that's in any other games. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
So, I mean,
I just think of
like item wise, like, I mean, maybe it's called something different, but the Oracle of Ages game lets you teleport. You play like a lyre, or there's a couple instruments, I think, to like teleport you to the past or to the present. And
oh, cool.
I guess Ocarina of Time, you would consider putting the Master Sword in the stone, but that's not really the same because you can't do it anywhere on the map. But yeah, if you like that mechanic, Oracle of Ages is I think it's even better in some ways, because you can actually go back and forth. With Link to the Past, you can only go to the light world and back.
I know. I always hated like handhelds because I have my posture, my eyes are bad enough. And so I always hated handhelds, but like, I was able to beat, Link's Awakening using the Super Game Boy. I was so disappointed because the Super Game Boy wouldn't play Game Boy Color games. So I never really finished or got that far into like Oracle Ages or Oracle of Seasons, which is a shame.
Yeah, maybe the Game Boy player on the GameCube might be a way to play. I think with Switch they have that Game Boy service, although I don't know if those are on it. So, yeah, and hopefully, I mean, there's been talk about a Oracle remaster. I don't know, maybe that'd be cool, like in the style of Link's Awakening or something. But those are Capcom, so I don't know what the future of that is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's there's one other. Yeah, so you mentioned the story. Are there any particular sub stories or main story elements that stood out to you?
I liked having like the separate villain, like I wish I could say his name. I know it starts with an A, but I can't remember. The guy you fight with the bug net. I thought that was cool, like how they had him in there. He was the one that was sending them off to the Zelda, like off to the Ganon to the Dark World. I'd have to see what the story is again, but like
Aghanim and the maidens, and Aghanim, 7 maidens, in order to open up the Dark World.
Yeah, so I liked how they had that character in the game, and that's part of the storyline. I thought that was a good addition. It's good to see like a different villain, at least, even if he's not the final one. Ganon's the final one, which is cool. But you have this other one that that's in there wreaking havoc, kind of, per se. But I thought that was cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And each of the maidens is like their own little story, although there's not really much to each one. They just kind of give you some advice as you rescue them. But I think the game does a good job at like subtle storytelling. Apparently, I've learned a couple things on my stream. Apparently, you can talk to the trees. And one of the trees in the Dark World Kakariko will tell you about the dungeon under the well, and that they hear cries of maiden at night. And I thought that was pretty. That stood out to me in replaying it.
Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I knew that or not. That's cool.
I learned a bunch of stuff on the stream. I had this guy Matt who's helping me out. He's telling me all these tricks and stuff, like the anti-bubbles, the red ones with the spheres. So if you use magic powder on them, they turn into fairies. And that's what helped me to get a 0 death run.
Oh man, no kidding.
So I got to shout out
No
Maine.
kidding. Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know if I know. Yeah, jeez, that's cool. Yeah. So yeah, who knows what all the tricks and tips there are then.
Yeah, you
Cool.
wouldn't think you don't think you'd need them. I mean, because it's very playable, but there's actually a lot of cool things to the game that who'd have thought?
Yeah, I think you don't. Even when you break a wall, you can. When you slam into it, you don't necessarily need a bomb. Can you run into them?
Certain walls, so they have to be shaped with the
Certain
circle sphere, but other ones are only bombable.
Oh, gotcha.
Um, we kind of tackled it, but we could briefly talk about it. So, in terms of comparisons and contrast, the main one that I want to do is Link to the Past versus all other top-down 2D Zeldas, and then if there's another comparison you'd like to make, we can by all means do it. But do you think that Link to the Past is the best top-down 2D Zelda?
In my opinion, yes. At least I can only consider the console ones, and I haven't given Four Swords a fair shake. I've only played that one a little bit, but I would say yes, for a lot of the reasons why I mentioned earlier, just with the music, sound effects. I think that was even now probably even more so than earlier. It's just I just like how it makes the emotion of the game and that kind of stuff. I really like that about the game, is the detail. But it could be too trying to think. I have played, in terms of 2D Zelda, there's because there is Link's Awakening. You consider the handhelds as well? I guess I should ask first.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I know you said you're not really into the handhelds as much, so we can forego those.
Okay, I'm going to say yes. It's a game I always go back to. Like I said, last 5-6 years, I play it at least once a year, just to enjoy, sit back, relax, enjoy the music, just playing the game.
So here's going to be the tricky question. Do you rate it above the original?
I can't. Just because of my first memories of the first Legend of Zelda, it all comes down to going to Toys R Us. First game I ever bought with my money. Just the experience of going to Toys R Us, going down that aisle, taking that little piece of paper with the barcode, taking it to the cashier, paying for it, going to the little building that they have off to the side that has all the games, and just that whole experience. I would say, it's hard to beat that. So no, it's up there, but it still doesn't beat the original for me.
So that means that the original Legend of Zelda is the best top-down 2D Zelda for Maine-ly Retro.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I guess if we go, it comes down at least gameplay, then it would be. But for me, now that's true. I have to go with the original Zelda. So yeah, in that vein. So yeah, the original Zelda, I have to say then.
Is that only based on the memory, or is there more to it than that?
Nope, that's it. It's just that experience. It's just, that's still kind of, I don't know. I just always remember that for, it's one of those memories. So in terms of gaming, that's one of my favorite memories. So I have to go with that one. So you got me on that one. That's true.
Understandably,
you did.
I will grant you permission to. Or I don't even think I need to. You can have whatever opinion you want, man. You can tell me it's 4 swords, and I won't bat an eye.
Yeah,
at least not publicly, anyway.
Yeah.
Um, kind of like my last. Oh, wait, actually, were there any other comparisons that you thought would be fitting for Link to the Past? Like, are there
I'm
any
trying
other
to think.
games in the series that you think it's worth pitting up against besides other top-down 2D ones, or even outside of the series?
Ooh. Um, no, just for the fact that I haven't given the other ones, I don't feel a fair enough share in that regard. Um, so I won't touch on those ones. Just out of fairness of the games, I'll say. But yeah, I'm
And
going with
then
that.
also, are there any games that this has reminded you of over the years?
Over the years, oh, shoot. Oh shoot, what was that one I was playing recently? Man, what was that one? I'm not going to remember it. There was a game that came out. I think it was actually 2010s, actually. But it took different games. Shoot, that's going to bug me because I have it up on the computer. Yes, thank you, thank you, Evil Land, thank you. Yeah, so that was one I would say recently that. Gosh, I'm glad you said that. That was going to bug me. Yeah, Evil Land was so that was cool because it kind of brought me back, well, to Zelda and Final Fantasy. But yeah.
What a cool game. Yeah, I played the first one, and it was very interesting to see the Zelda Final Fantasy evolutions in that game.
Yeah, no, I haven't really cared for the second one as much as the first one. The first Evil Land is good. Awesome. The second one's kind of
okay, and recommendations. Do you recommend Link to the Past to newcomers? If so, what kind of newcomer?
I feel like if they like the Switch, I think it's a great game to play. I don't have a Switch, but just seeing gameplays of games that are on the Switch, I feel like some of the popular games on there, I think it would be definitely approachable, and I think people would get into it for that reason.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if you own a Switch, you can play it if you spend that $20 a year anyway, and it's probably better than most of the games that you're playing on that service or on that, that are available for you anyway.
Yeah.
So good point. All right, Corey from Maine-ly Retro. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause. You heard him here first. 3 times now, 3 for 3. I don't have any very creative question to close on, but if you were Link, how would you close off this interview?
I would say I'm not good with voices, but do the yay, but that's more in, I think, Ocarina of Time. Yeah, I keep going back to that game.
When does he say
yay? Or is it yay, or is it like, how do you say it? Or no, when he gets hit. I don't know. I lost it.
I just know the pitfalls or
yeah,
the treasure chest.
I need to play that game again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I just need to play that game again. I think I got it on my mind now.
Not a bad thing. Ocarina on the mind.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
So I'm not sure. Appreciate it.